Stan Lee? You've probably heard of him. Steve Ditko? The creators of Spider-Man. Yeah, they are pretty famous. Some people might not recognize the name Jerry Conway, but they do know the death of Gwen Stacy. Len Wein. Now we're getting into the obscure runs. After Conway left, Archie Goodwin did one issue that works as kind of an epilogue for Conway's run, or a bridge to Wayne if that's how you want to look at it. It's a cool little story. Little did Archie know this issue would lead to one of the worst Spider-Man storylines ever written. But the 90s will have to wait. Let's talk about mid-70s, The Unremarkable Spider-Man by Len Wein. Wayne's run begins with Shocker. Shocker's plot is dumb. He destroys New York's power grid so the power outage spells out Shocker. Beyond that, Peter's doing his thing, he has to leave a party unexpectedly, and we get this really awesome first suit-up scene. Wayne has some longer plots and character development plans, so his early issues are spent setting up his status quo. Peter and MJ enter some relationship drama. Harry returns and Harry is just allowed back into the friend group. It feels kind of weird how everyone's okay with the man, like no one's suspicious or afraid. Harry himself doesn't do much to make things up. Like, I understand having your friend back. I'm a ride or die kind of guy myself, but this is a bit much. A few issues later, they explain Harry doesn't remember anything after his dad got nailed harder than Drake's girlfriend on the prom night. There's a villain behind Sandman. There's a hobo running around. Ooh, terrifying. There's setups, but honestly, these setups aren't very interesting. Why would I care about some random poor person? Or some random villain doing evil stuff? Like, okay, someone wants to steal stuff? Like, what's the special deal about this one? Harry feels like a cop-out. I don't think the book explores this enough to make it interesting. Like, the Goblin is yet again used as a ticking time bomb, and it's a little tiring by this point. Like, it's unoriginal. It wouldn't bother me as much if I hadn't read every issue leading up to this. Like, if I started with Wayne or even Conway back in the day, I think I'd be fine with it, but I can read old issues, and I did, so I don't like it. Wayne is a great writer, but the book feels like it's in stasis. Ditko, Lee, and Conway furthers the plot and characters pretty consistently, but Wayne just repeats plots and character beats. It's kind of repetitive by this point. It's odd, and it feels like it's not continuing Conway's run in a smooth way. Peter is angry again, like he should be calmer after Conway's character development. One bad thing and he regresses. Like, come on, man. At least it's over in a few issues. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not feeling Wayne's voice for Spider-Man. It's hard to pinpoint what it is, but I'd love to hear your thoughts if you read the run. To me, there's just something wrong about this Spider-Man. It rubs me the wrong way. His voice is off somehow. Something is wrong. School is a big part of Ditko years. College is not important, like, at all. Peter barely ever appears at his college. He rarely studies or does anything relating to it. There's few moments but it's really minor. Like, shockingly so. All, like, very, very little is not really part of the story. If Stan Lee stories or Conway stories weren't set during college, would there be a difference for the story? Not really. It's not until Wayne comes in that Peter starts to go to school regularly. It's not like the main part of this run by anyway. But it's more present now, more noticeable. It's all, like, I was genuinely kind of shocked when I picked up of this book, and it's like Peter actually goes to campus. Like, oh my god. You could chalk it up to character development, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like just a new writer took over. Peter does apparently fail to graduate during this run. His grades have been failing so badly. It's kind of a realistic consequence of his Spider-Maning, but it's kind of pointless. Like, Wayne is the only writer to use the college setting in any capacity. Why drag it on? Why keep it going? Like, just end the college era. I don't understand why we're gonna keep doing this, but college just straight up isn't an important part of the character. None of these writers have proven why it's valuable for him. I don't like Wayne's take on sci-fi. There's a computer that becomes self-aware in one of these stories and it wants to take over the world or something. It's nothing cool like Ultron. It's just a monitor and a box. It shoots lasers from its monitor. Like, come on, that's not how it works. It's not like everything was connected to the internet back in the 70s, so it's not like this AI is going to disappear into cyberspace and take over everything like a modern cyber villain would. It's basically just a box. Like, how terrifying is that? Remember how Hammerhead and Doc Ock got hit by a nuclear explosion during Conway's run? Hammerhead becomes a ghost because of the radiation. He haunts the characters and makes them hit his ghost body with more radiation, so his physical body is vaporized into existence by nuclear energy. That's dumb. Like, really dumb. Kingpin's son is brought back by stealing Spider-Man's life force, like that's literally the term, life force, and the plot is about Spider-Man sucking his life back. Spider-Man's character rooted in 60s sci-fi. His first story is about a space shuttle. B-movie sci-fi is part of the character's charm, but to me, Wayne kinda proves himself to be the line between good and bad sci-fi for me. Like seriously, Doc Ock survived the nuclear explosion by hiding in a little metal hatch and tying his arms around himself. That's some Indiana Jones levels of insanity. Like, Spider-Man nuked the fridge decades before Crystal Skulls. I don't like it. It just doesn't do it for me. The one exception is the Spider-Mobile storyline. Here is my favorite series of panels, possibly in the history of the character. Spider-Man has been knocked down by someone. Someone's coming for him. We see the great villain lurk in the shadows like a horror movie monster. And then, the monster steps out of the shadows. It's Spider-Man's car. I love it so much. I love it so much. Spider-Man is chased by this thing, and he has to admit defeat and just run away. Even running up walls isn't enough because the Spider-Mobile can naturally drive on walls. Of course he can. It will chase Spider-Man across the rooftops. It's powerful, ruthless. There's a personal betrayal element to it. I love it. I love it. Now, while I do love the Spider-Mobile, this is the end of that story. Spider-Man scraps the car by the end of it, so hopefully that's done. I love it, but a good joke must know when to end. This is the perfect place to stop. I hope nobody comes in and runs the joke to the ground. But I will say, I'm a big fan of the Spider-Mobile for the little bit it was here. Rest in peace, this little murder machine. A lot of this early Spider-Man stuff isn't very smart, especially the Silver Age stuff. Like, they can be very silly. But Ditko's era, it is slapstick. It is basically as much about those stories are as much comedies as they are action stories. So you kind of let it go. Stan Lee era, like, they were silly, but I don't know. Like, something about Wayne feels dumber. Like, I feel like his plots are just straight up dumber, and I really think it brings it all down a little bit. Like, I don't know if it was Conway who wrote better and going back to this is what's jarring, or if there is a difference between Lee and Lee's style and Wayne's style. But Wayne's style is just, his stories are just stupid. They're stupid, and I don't think he thinks things through enough, and it just ends up being very underwhelming stories in a lot of cases. Wayne likes his longer plot lines. He continues stories from Conway's era, and he introduces long-term setups, and that'll pay off in later issues. The hobo? That's Doc Ock. Conway introduced the mad scientist who created Hammerhead. Wayne continues that by having the scientist appear in multiple stories, creating supervillains for Spider-Man to fight. He's a shadowy threat Spider-Man doesn't know enough about to even chase him in the first place. Here's another mystery. Shadowy Victor has been pulling the strings, sending his goons to steal stuff and prepare for some evil plot. He's covered in shadows and his name is never used. Who is it? Who do you think it is? Here's your hints. Here's the cover for the issue. And the name of the issue is called All the Kingpin's Men. Yeah, I wonder who could it be. Yeah, it's Kingpin. Oh my god, wow, you really pulled a fast on me, Wayne. I don't get it. Why do you keep spoiling things on the cover? Like, is it a miscommunication? Like, what's the deal here? Like, Conway did it as well. Maybe Wayne wasn't talking to the artist? But Wayne is the writer and the editor in these issues, so I'd imagine he should have, like, full control over this stuff. He chose the name of the story, right? So what gives? Like, is he sitting there rubbing his hands like, oh yeah, they'll never figure this one out. It's a shocker. If it wasn't meant to be a mystery, why all the secrecy? Why is King being framed with the panels leading up to his reveal like it's a big reveal? Like, oh, you gotcha. It's weird. It's just like, stop spoiling stuff in the covers. Like, oh my god, stop doing that. It's annoying. I'm not sure if this is a Wayne-specific trope, but he does seem to like writing multiple rivaling villains into a story. There's Doc Ock being chased by Hammerhead, Will-O-the-Wisp and Spider-Slayer appear in the same storyline. And it's not just always villains. There's multiple rivaling parties like Punisher, Nightcrawler, and Jigsaw getting wrapped up all together. I'm not sure if Wayne's doing it more than other writers, but it was noticeable to me. A lot of rival villains and team-ups. I guess Wayne really likes these big action sequences where it's like multiple different parties and it's like a free-for-all or a team-up or just a lot of characters fighting together. Like, is, like everybody kind of getting together into this one big messy action scene. Another point is that Wayne uses pre-existing villains during his run. His original villains are Photon, Who Computer, and Will-O-the-Wisp. Maybe Rocket the Racer, who appears for 3 pages. I don't know who created it. and Pain and Mirage. I'm not gonna bother checking those 3. Everyone else is someone Spider-Man has already fought in the past, or someone who fought another superhero somewhere. Wayne's roster of villains is kinda weak. I mean, I guess he has some, like, good amount of original villains, but none of them are stars of their own show. Jigsaw, I believe, is Wayne's original creation, but Nightcrawler is the selling point, and Punisher. He's kind of like, it's like it doesn't have this feeling of freshness, because I think Punisher and Nightcrawler kind of steal the limelight. Well, you compare, I don't know, like Mysterio first appearing. Mysterio is the star of those Ditko issues. Here, it's like Jigsaw is kind of like, whatever. Like Photon is probably an original villain. That is not a character. It's like you don't read that issue being like, oh, Photon. You think of it like, oh, Nova. And Nova is not an original character. So, you have like a third Green Goblin, and it's like, it's a Green Goblin. None of the villains feel fresh. And none of them are particularly interesting either. Not really particularly memorable villains. They're not terrible. They're fine. But none of them really have any staying power. And none of them manage to really leave an impact on you, either in power or personality or just, I don't know, showmanship. Wayne's writing is lighter than Conaway's. I think Wayne's run is lighter. The shadow of Gwen Stacy has moved on, and I honestly really like that. Will-O-the-Wisp, but you can call me Death. Brother, you can't go around saying something like that while calling yourself Will-O-the-Wisp. Wearing that outfit too? Like, come on, please. That's embarrassing. You are not that guy. Please, stop it. Go home. There's a Nova crossover. Nova's uncle is murdered and he has to team up with Spidey to figure out who did it. I like the Nova crossover despite this stupidity. Like, seriously, the dying man grabbed the calendar pages and arranged them so the first letters spell out an anagram for the murderer's name. Come on now. I would have preferred if this whole storyline was just a single issue. It'll minor rant, but I hate it when crossovers take place between books. Like, if you want to bring over a villain or a hero, that's fine. Luke Cage's story was great. Johnny Storm and Spidey are fan favorite team up, and I love them too, because they get to be a real character in the book with complete stories. People remember Kitty Pryde from Ultimate Spider-Man, the old one, because she is a real character you can invest into. If you split the parts of the story away, a lot of people aren't going to read the full story and aren't going to get into the characters. Like, the only reason why I read the Nova storyline is because I read it as a kid, so I was feeling nostalgic, but otherwise I wouldn't have bothered. Even if they're good characters, you're selling them short, and I get why Marvel does it to encourage people to buy another book, but I truly believe it must be more effective to make me care about the character with a real plot line first. I personally have only ever read Fantastic Four from Amazing Spider-Man, but because I like Johnny himself, specifically Johnny. I don't care about the rest of them. Johnny is the one I care about. So I'm primed to read those books. And when I do one day read the Fantastic Four, I have someone to latch onto, and that's Johnny. He's the character I'm interested in because I know him. Yeah, everybody else is just a stranger I don't care about. Even if I read the Nova issue, I would never pick up that book properly with this current setup. I would just buy a single issue and be done with it, and annoyed. And this whole marketing trick, it's gotta work because they keep doing it and still to this day, and it's even gotten worse, but I hate it. I really do. Marvel never considered you reading these books after the fact, and I understand that, but, like, that wasn't a thing back in the day, but retroactively reading this stuff, it's so much worse. Like, oh my god, it's so annoying to start reading a book and go find the issue you need for this one thing. I hate it. I hate it so much. This isn't a huge problem for this era of Spider-Man yet. It's mostly just annoying, but oh, it will get worse. So much worse as time goes on. Around this time, during Wayne's run, the spin-off book Spectacular Spider-Man launched, the one that didn't get cancelled after 2 issues. It's a major Spider-Man book that has some good stories in it. I've read some, and I remember liking it as a kid. There's only 2 references to it during Wayne's run, with Peter mentioning Tarantula and Hickman. Spectacular is written by many different writers and artists, and as far as I know, none of them are Wayne, so I didn't bother to read it. I got enough reissues to read with Wayne. I'll get to Spectacular after Wayne's run, it's just simpler for me that way. The main artist for Wayne's run is once again Ross Andru. Guest artist is Sal Buscema. Buscema's style is bolder. Sal's style feels more Ditko inspired. I'm not sure if he's purposefully pulling from Ditko or if it just happens to be a similar lane. Sal is more cartoony and simplified than Romita's artists. Sal's face are big and expressive, and they're kind of goofy. Like, they're funny. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be funny. His style would fit comedy. And Ditko's writing used to write with slapstick and, like Silver Age goofs. Wayne's book is not Silver Age book, though. It's like lighter than Conway, but Wayne is not writing Dark Knight Returns here. Dark Knight Returns didn't exist yet for another 10 years. This is noticeably a Bronze Age story, and Buscema's style isn't doing it for me. It feels like a bit of a mismatch. I dislike it. I don't like it. Or maybe it's just Sandman's costume. Like, ugh, like, what is that? That's the real crime. I don't think Buscema is a good fit with Wayne's era. Buscema only does 2 issues and straight back to Andru, so it's not a big deal, but I thought it was worth mentioning. This might be a bit of a hot take. I think out of the 5 or 6 artists to work on Amazing Spider-Man by this point, Ross Andru might be my favorite. They're all fantastic artists, I think everybody agrees on that, but Andru has won me over during his time. His paneling is great, I love the flow of it, he has fun storytelling quirks. The Multi-Man issue also might be the first time the web gloves make an appearance, so that's cool. His action is great, I love his location. It's not just the art of the locations, people say that buildings are detailed, it's not just that, it's the choice of location. These battles take place in burning buildings and giant opera houses or on top of Statue of Liberty or cool places like that. And that's the great stuff. Some of this is purely evolution of the medium. Ditko did the book in the early 60s, and so naturally it's not going to be as detailed and you're going to be able to. Ditko paved the way for Andru, so I'm not saying the early work is bad, and I understand that it's a different time, but like, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Andru's art is just better for me, and I love Andru's art. I haven't seen enough recognition for him, I believe, over the years, so I'm gonna give him his flowers. He's standing on top of giants, and I think with that, Andru grows tall. MJ's character is handled a little weird during this run. MJ and Peter have this tension between them during the first half of it. They are arguing and Peter is talking like they're not together, which is an odd decision because Conway seemed to definitely put them together, so I don't know what the deal is there. Why are we suddenly confused about this relationship? The drama feels unnecessary, but Wayne at least gets over it quickly. MJ will give Peter the cold shoulder, so Peter just says like, okay, and walks away. And MJ immediately apologizes and they make up. That's cool. And it's like, it does feel relatable and human. Like, I can recognize this kind of conversations and arguments personally in my life. But after that, it's back to drama because Peter gets jealous over Flash or something. And it's a weird for a couple issues. And, then Flash says cool and backs off like the respectful Chad he has become. We never got this Flash in the movies, and that's an unforgivable sin. I will never let that go. What's up, guys? Like, why? MJ and Peter make up, and it's all cool again. I appreciate the quick solutions, Peter and MJ's conversations. They feel natural, but it is quite redundant after like 2 runs of relationship drama. And, I do love how MJ and Peter both verbalize their issues out loud. Like, it's not just that they make up, they actually say what the deal is. Peter actually says it, that he has a chip over his shoulders. And that's what makes him act stupid. And MJ has never been emotionally vulnerable with someone so like she has with Peter, so it has her scared. I appreciate the Wayne putting it to words. I do wish it was handled with less bait and more grace, but at least he writes her like a real character. That's better than some other writers who will handle MJ in the future. Oh, I will get to you. Just you wait. Liz and Harry meet for the first time during this run, and they get engaged in the same run. Like, this is like 2.5 year long run. Like, there's not a whole lot of time here. They even have time to break up and get back together. Like, wow, that feels quite unnatural to me. I've talked about how Peter and Gwen have real connections, which is what makes their relationship, makes sense. And Peter and MJ especially are compatible due to their personalities, life experiences, and all of that. Liz and Harry, though, I don't see it. Like, why are they together? I don't get it. Both have supervillain family members, and the other connection is that they both used to be Peter's bullies, so maybe they're bonding over those memories. Beyond that, there isn't much to them. Maybe that's supposed to be the point, 2 broken people trying to find a little solace in each other, but I feel like that's just not done well enough to justify that, and that's just sad. Liz isn't messed up like Harry. Not yet, anyways. I don't know, it just doesn't feel quite right. I don't think the run does enough to show me why these two would fall for each other. This relationship does lead to an interesting development with Harry, as this is him finding the love he always wanted, the love he didn't get from his parents. We can see that in Harry as he grows more confident. He stands up for Liz when Liz is under pressure, and he does seem happier and kind of seems to get his act together a little bit. So good for him. Harry's insanity in general is kind of badly handled. Like, seriously, he and Peter have like one proper conversation at a dinner, and that's it. Beyond that, there's nothing until the final arc of the run. It's a super disappointing discontinuation of Harry's story. I wanted to see Peter interact with his crazy ex-best friend. You'd think Peter would be here to support the man or trying to find a way to help him, but, you know, like he promised at the end of Conway's run, but no. He just says, cool, and keeps his distance. I mean, it's fair, but it does feel wrong for Peter. He should be trying to help and then abandon Harry because Spider-Man stuff arises. They're two separate. MJ does more for Harry here than Peter ever does, and it makes sense since MJ and Harry did date, but still, where's the struggle? Maybe that's in the Spectacular Spider-Man run. Like, again, I haven't read that one yet, so it could be there. I don't know, but it isn't here in the main book. Wayne ends his run with one 5-issue-long arc with the return of the Green Goblin. It's a great story, actually, and it's one of the stories I remember more vividly reading back in the day, so for me personally, I can say it left some sort of impact. Like, I remember some of these panels very vividly, and correctly, apparently. Goblin returns, and he wants to take over the New York crime syndicates. This brings him into conflict with Silvermane, who's resurrected in another Marvel book I'm not gonna go back and read. The great twist of the story is that Green Goblin isn't Harry this time around. Yes, most people most likely don't know this, but there's more Green Goblins than just the Osborns. There was a third Green Goblin, Harry's therapist, Bart Hamilton. The arc ends with Harry becoming Goblin anyway, so hey. And Hamilton and he have a face-off. Two Green Goblins enter, one Goblin leaves. Hamilton is an idiot and loses, and I'm pretty sure that should do it. Like, look at this. But knowing Marvel, someone brought him probably back. Bart isn't a particularly great villain. Like, the twist is well enough. It's extremely obvious, but it does lead to some character development for Harry. Conway turned Harry into the Goblin, right? But Conway wrote Harry as just insane. Like, he just snapped and he was insane. That's all there was to it. Harry's fall was a little underwritten, and although I do admit I did love how Conway captured this feeling of not recognizing your own friend. There's a certain heartbreak to that, but, you know, whoever Harry was a very different person from the Harry we all fell in love with. But Wayne alters this by making Harry aware of his goblinism, and Harry ultimately rejects it. Harry before this was just Norman 2.0 with brain damage. Wayne is the writer who transforms Harry from this into this man who's actually aware of his insanity and who doesn't want to be insane. That conflict would become an important part of the character going forward, and it's Wayne's main contribution to the Amazing Spider-Man's legacy. Like, seriously, Len Wein doesn't have a single classic story under his belt. I love the Spider-Mobile the 13th and Harry's ending here, but beyond that, all the stories are quite skippable. Like, they're not bad by any means. I really enjoyed reading the run, but it ultimately lacks any kind of impact. The only other story of note for the overall Adventures of Spider-Man is Betty and Ned's wedding. Yes, Ned Leeds marries Betty Brant in the comics. I don't think there's any character work that has lasting impact, nor are there any really interesting developments during the run. Wayne's run is just kind of more of the Spider-Man you know. And that's it. If you will read one run from this run, it should be the Goblin one. Everything else might be worth checking out, but if you want to speed your Spider-Man read-through, you can skip most of Wayne's run. The run is overall very mediocre. My least favorite so far. Not for you, Andrew. You did good, man. I love you. I'm super curious about the next run, though. Next up is Marv Wolfman, the creator of Black Cat. Now that sounds like an interesting run. Can't wait to get to it.